Over the weekend, WWE released a video for Dominic Mysterio for their recently purchased AAA promotion, hyping up that he's a bad guy, he thinks he's better than everyone, he's the villain, he's the heel, and on paper that's perfectly well and good, just perfect for his character. Problem being, they didn't just use AI for the video, which already is contentious, being that AI data centers are going full Captain Planet on us, and being that it's just plain unethical because a lot of the software is being traced off of artwork that is stolen from DeviantArt and stolen from other people online, and the artists that the artwork is stolen from, none of them are being paid and never will be credited. That aside, the biggest problem with the AI artwork that they used is that they frequently showed the AEW title, which is a title belonging to a rival promotion they have never worked with, and several frames replaced Dominic Mysterio with wrestlers who do not work at WWE, such as Bandito. And this is very sloppy. Usually, what billion-dollar companies do when they use any form of animation, whether we're talking AI or human-generated content, usually there's a post-production phase. It's not very long for a video this short, obviously, but usually in post-production, a grown adult will frame by frame watch to make sure that the animation is consistent, which this video uses no consistent animation, and make sure that they're not using assets that they don't have any legal right to, such as the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, or their Tag Team Championship, or Bandito. This is usually part of the production process, whether you are a billion-dollar company or you are a rookie indie just starting out. Disney does not exist without post-production. All animation requires post-production. The fact that they were so quick to use this AI software, which again is based off of artwork that is traced, hodgepodged, and stolen from real artists, to create something that does not reflect their character, does not reflect the story at all, doesn't reflect anything they were trying to produce, and requires not just stolen assets from other artists, but stolen assets from AEW of all places, is infuriating. This is a symptom of the ongoing problem. They don't want to pay a graphic designer. They don't want to pay a cartoonist. This is infuriating because this was the industry I initially came up through. I'm a cartoonist and a graphic designer. I hand draw everything on pieces of paper, I scan it into my computer, and I finish the coloring and the editing on the computer. But everything I do is hand drawn. I, like most artists, don't require AI because we all went to a place called school, and we all learned how to draw with teachers. And while there are some of us in my field that ask for way too much, and I don't know where they get their egos from, I'm not one of them. I usually work cheap, and I'm always negotiable. A lot of artists are negotiable because we realize, even if you are a billion-dollar, you have no excuses company, times are tough. You know, wrestlers don't pay themselves. So if you needed us to work cheap, most of us will, just to be able to help you on your project. Not so much to pad out our portfolios, although that helps too, but also because we realize our artwork serves a purpose in this situation to help promote one of the biggest heels in both AAA and WWE. The fact that you would stoop to this level pisses me off as an artist, but it's also pissing me off as a wrestling fan. Dominic literally grew up with WWE. We watched him from the time he was 8 years old onward. And those of us who are WCW fans can go back even further. We remember when WCW Magazine announced his birth. So that's another company they purchased, much like AAA. So you have a boy you literally helped raise. He is now one of your number one, your top heels, arguably your number one heel with how the crowd reacts to him. And he's the son of a Hall of Famer. And that's how you want to treat him. That's how you want to say thank you for your work, thank you for putting your body on the line, thank you for interrupting your childhood so that CM Punk can terrorize you or that Eddie Guerrero could terrorize you. Thank you for letting us profit off of your childhood trauma. That's how you want to say thank you. You want to produce generative AI art that does not even look like him looks like people who aren't even the same race as him, and reflecting a title he cannot hold at the moment because he works for you and not AEW. That is insulting on multiple levels. If we don't allow this with an independent wrestling company, we shouldn't allow this with WWE or anybody else. If an independent company had pulled the same stunt, which many of them use AI for their posters, and many of those companies get raked over the coals. We don't really care that a lot of you are mom and pops and you can barely pay your rent. If you have the money to run a wrestling company, you have the money to pay a graphic designer or a cartoonist. You shouldn't be using AI art. You should be working on how impatient you are and on your budget so you can have something that is top quality and doesn't kill the planet. If we don't accept this when independent companies do it, we shouldn't accept this out of WWE. We shouldn't play the everybody does it game or, what about the AI bros game? No. Call it for what it is. We use cute phrases like AI slop, but in cutifying it, we're kind of glossing over the bigger problem. This is a billion-dollar corporation that refused to pay an actual artist to produce a good video. This is a corporation that just disrespected their top heel with something that is not sellable, not usable, something that eventually YouTube is going to pull down because they're getting a little fed up with the AI slop themselves, and effectively wasted everybody's time and made them look, at best, Bush League, and at worst, woefully ignorant of the products that they do own. That is amazing that you can own so many companies and still lose track of them and not even know you have nothing to do with AEW. It is amazingly lazy. So, obviously, there's already wrestling fans who were annoyed with WWE as is. The product, I'm not going to say it's the worst ever, because no, I lived through 2009 to 2013. That was unwatchable. That was the worst ever. 1995, second worst. It was a rough time for WWE. This is not their worst ever, period. But it is their laziest. It is sloppy. The product has gone stale. This happens periodically. It just means they need to refresh the writing. But people are tired of accepting stale, and seeing that this is not the first AI video that sloppily rendered their favorite wrestlers, it is going to push a lot of people out of paying extra for that ESPN package for the PLEs, which is already way too expensive, and it's going to push a lot more people away from the product. Some are going to go to AEW out of protest. Some are just going to stop going to wrestling shows altogether because they're sick of the drama. That's another problem nobody wants to talk about, but video for another day, obviously. What I would like to say is get your shit together. Stop doing Bush League shit like this. You're a billion-dollar company. Act like it. But I don't expect anybody at that company to listen, so instead, I'm going to turn it over to anybody watching this video. Consider pulling your funds. We already know where their fundeds are going. We don't need to beat this over the bush and make it political. We know what side of the coin they're politically on, and I won't rant about that. But if they're going to continue doing AI slop, don't buy it. If you see it in the video caption that they used AI, don't watch the video. Cut the views. If you see on WWE Shop that there's a t-shirt that used AI and you can tell it was taken from AI or taken from somebody else, don't buy that specific shirt. If you don't want to completely stop watching the product, that's fine. You live another day, but you can pull your funds where it's going to count. They do pay attention when certain products, certain wrestlers, certain things don't sell. If we stop paying for AI slop, they stop making it. A lot of AI companies are already looking at bankruptcy because people are not buying those products any longer. We keep it up, it stops being made, we move on the way we moved on when we stopped buying NFTs and we stopped thinking that cryptocurrency was the way of the future. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing. As for anybody else curious about cartooning, curious about graphic design, some of us who are human beings and don't use AI, we still exist. If you ever want to hit me up for artwork, I've got details in the video description.